Hey guys, I wanted to jump on here live for just a short moment to let you know that the books are here. I haven't done a live video for a while on my personal page, so I thought I'd give it a shot and see if anyone was around. I did a little announcement on the True Form page, but I wanted to share on my personal page as well, so if you couldn't tell, they're right here. Little tiny books, but they're packed full, jam packed full. There's just about there's 225 pages. So super excited that finally I got a chance to launch another book. It's been a while. This is my third book. First one was co-authored. The second one was Detoxify Yourself. Many of you heard about that because I was on the news. So I'm gonna invite a handful of you guys in here. See if anyone wants to join me live. If you are live, let me know where you're watching from. And yeah, so I wanted to just do a quick little video here to talk about a new book that I'm super excited about. So it's for entrepreneurs. I know this is a bit different. Hi, Sue. We got Sue in here and Jeanette's in here as well. I am kind of stretching my comfort zones. So for the last year, we've been doing entrepreneur workshops. I've been doing one-on-one coaching and some social media management for some other businesses as well. So super excited to kind of take a leap, and I think it's a natural progression. I feel like it's a good opportunity for us to be able to work with different people, new people, and help more individuals as well. Thanks, Sue. Sue says, congratulations, sir. So yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about today here, just briefly. I'm not going to be here long. I just wanted to jump on here. It's always nice to have other people celebrate with you, I suppose. And this book really came from you guys. It came from those that were asking questions and wanted to know more about business and entrepreneurship and everything. There's so much that goes along with it. So I wanted to share that with you guys. To be honest with you, it's kind of sad. Like, I don't know how it is. I grew up in a bigger city. And even when we visit bigger cities, you see businesses shut down all the time. It's just part of business. It's part of life. It's what happened. It's super challenging to run a business. Hi, Tina Thomas. Thanks for joining me. If you guys are in here, let me know where you're watching from. I'd love to know where you guys are. So it's just part of business. Success, failure, it has everything to do with how it works. But when we're in and around the small towns, like here in Olds, for example, it's sad. It's almost depressing when you drive by. We have all kinds of buildings that have been shut down, unfortunately. And hey, Shauna. Shauna says, hey yourself. Thanks for tuning in, Shauna. I'm just talking about my new book. Very excited about Random Thoughts. I'm going to tell you about it here briefly, but the reason that I wrote the book, like we started the entrepreneur workshops, is because there was like all these empty businesses, and I was like, there's got to be something that we can do. Like, someone should be doing something to help them out or to help business owners out. So I said, like, what if we run some entrepreneur workshops? And that's what I wanted to do for probably a couple of years, and just didn't have the courage, I suppose, to put myself out there. And anytime you go a different way in business, or anytime you I don't know, stretch yourself in different ways, it's challenging, it's difficult. And so I finally did that. Finally stepped out of my comfort zone, and I was like, we're going to do these workshops. We're going to try to help some local business owners, and that's what we did. We've been doing that since January, and we're doing them just about once a month, and they're going amazing. So that really inspired me to make this book happen. I've been writing my random thoughts for throughout business for quite some time now, probably for a few years. I like to write, as many of you know. I write often on our True Form page, and I write in the different books that I've released already. Like I said, when I first started this video, this is the third one. Thanks for all the hearts, whoever that is. I'm rocking the hearts. That's pretty awesome. So when I lost my train of thought. So, from the entrepreneur workshops and through writing over the years, I had all this information written down. And I suppose I did a mini group maybe 2 years ago, a mini online group, and I thought I would step into the entrepreneur world, and I really wasn't ready for it. So that kind of died out quickly. And I thought I'd give it a try again in January. So through those writings and then more writings every morning, I would get up and write, and I would put it together in a Google Doc, for example. And then it was time to release it. It was time to put it together. It is quite a bit of work when you start publishing books. Like when it comes to editing, I think that's the hardest part. And then you go back and forth with your publisher or your publishing house. And that's something I just want to share with you guys. So I've seen a ton of support already. We just launched the book yesterday, so super excited about that. I'm already trying to keep up with orders. So we did I said a kind of like a soft launch, and we put these books together here, and I'm hoping for some feedback. And those are the early adopters, we call them, the first ones that kind of jump on board and show your support. Of so many of you guys, you're so amazing, that I'd like to do some edits and some adjustments and some revisions, and then do another copy, do another print, and then send out a bunch more. So Sue says, I'm interested in getting one, possibly two. Awesome, Sue. Thank you so much. We do have, what's funny is you have the book, you have the idea, you have the thought, then you have to put into action. Then it takes the work, or like the time and effort it takes to put in to create something like a book. And I think that I kind of feel like everyone should write a book at some point in their lives, regardless of how big it is, because personally, I feel like books don't get enough appreciation. And I only say that not for my books. I say that because I really enjoy the library. Like for me, it's unlimited knowledge at library, and I feel like knowledge is power. So we have all these books at libraries that a lot of people don't utilize. And then we have all these little book areas around town, which is super cool. You can bring your book there, and you can leave a book, like bring a book, take a book. I love those. And but that, I walk by some of them, and there's never a new book or never anyone in them. So I feel like we could have some more appreciation for books, because they take so much time and effort to put together. And then there's so much information, so much knowledge. I always say that if you want, you could sit across from a great world leader. You could sit across from someone that's an expert in any field. You can get listen to their very specific thoughts, and you could learn about whatever subject you want. And many times we don't choose to. I'm not sure why, but that's always something that's been on my mind. So it goes from what I was saying. Hey, Vince, what's up? Vince just jumped in here. Vince is doing some crazy ride to raise some money for kids. And Vince, leave some comments below on what you're doing if you want to share with our audience here. So it goes from the idea of a book, and then the writing, and then you have to design the cover, and then you edit the book, and then you send it to a print shop, and then the print shop, sometimes they go through it and they help you out, and then you have to market the book. I mean, that's the most challenging part, I think. As much work as it is to get the book in your hands, and then you have to market it. You have to get it out there, because if you don't know how to do that, or if you don't do it at all, then you have all these books sitting with you. My first book, Detoxify Yourself, that I wrote myself, we printed like 2,000 copies, because the more books that you there's not a whole lot of money in books, to be honest with you, unless you print like thousands of books, or if you're a New York Times bestseller. But for example, we printed 2,000 books, and of course you're sitting on all this money that cost me $5,000 that I didn't have, and I didn't really know any better at the time. So now it's a bit different. I don't go in with that mindset. We don't make a ton of money on the books itself, but at least we get a chance to help people. It gets in there, gets in other people's hands. We do small printings at a time. We printed 50 books here, and I think we have 30 books sold. So I'm hoping to go through. I try not to have expectations when it comes to this stuff. I'm so grateful for every single order. So it's not like I'd be disappointed if we didn't get all the books sold, or every single order means so much because of all the time and effort put in. I didn't have really any expectations. I was like, maybe people will buy them, maybe they'll not. I thought that this is completely different. I didn't want to confuse people. This guy is a health guy. He talks about health and lifestyle and nutrition and fitness, what's his entrepreneur stuff. So I thought I might lose some people, or they would lose interest in what we do because of it. I don't know if that would hurt a business or not, but I suppose it was a newfound passion of mine that I wanted to. Dorothy jumped in there. Hey, Dorothy. Dorothy, you're supposed to be in the video with me. So again, a newfound passion of mine to talk business and work with business owners, and I love it. I could talk business all day. Dorothy would tell you that. She's like, stop talking business. So that's where I'm at. I don't know if you guys have any questions with the book. This book is a bit smaller than like a regular size book is probably quite a bit taller and maybe wider. I'm not sure. I should know with all the books I have, but I wanted this to be a pocket book. So I could have made this half the size, for example. I could have made it half the size, and then I could have made it longer, but I wanted it to be like a pocket book. I thought it'd be cool. Like sometimes when I'm traveling or I'm on an airplane, you have these big books or hardcover books, and you have to like try to fit them in the front of the seat, or you have to stuff it in your bag, and there's just no room. So I was like, well, what if I had a smaller book that was easy to carry, and you could like put it in your bag or put it in your who knows, maybe some of you ladies could put it in your purse, but I suppose more easily transportable. And I thought that, hi Tracy, thanks for tuning in. If you guys are tuning in, let me know where you're watching from. I'd love to know who's here watching and where you guys are. I thought it'd be cool if you could like just carry it around. That was really the basis of it. I was reading one tiny book, and I think Corey let me borrow it. Corey Black let me borrow it, or she gave it to me, I'm not sure, and it was a business book, and it was just a tiny one. And I was like, this is so cool. It's just like a little book. I could put it in my pocket if I want, or I could put it wherever, and it's super easy to store or carry. So I thought it'd be cool to have a tiny book, and just for like a little manual. So a lot of times, like when it comes to business coaches or big business like guru types, they're always like, you have to niche down. You have to pick a very specific topic. Now, I'm not saying that's bad advice. I think in most cases that's good advice, but I don't usually follow norms. So I was like, I'm just gonna do my own thing. And so this book here is Random Thoughts. It's called Random Thoughts Volume 1, and it's about right here. It says branding, sales, marketing, connections, social media, and more. It's kind of funny because anyone like in business would be like, don't talk about everything in your business. I would say, this is my advice, if you think everyone's your audience, no one's your audience. Because you can't market to everyone. We don't have billions of dollars. So you have to find a specific niche. But I was like, I have all these thoughts, like all these business thoughts, and I need an outlet because they just run around in my head over and over again. And Shauna says, read a small chapter or a thought. Okay, give me a second, Shauna. You're putting me on the spot. Okay, I'll get to that in a second, but I have all these thoughts going around and around in my head, and I have to get them out somehow. Otherwise I can't sleep, or otherwise I can't start a new project or work on a new project. So that's why I sit down and write. It's medicinal for me. So I had all these random thoughts, and then I had them in a PDF. So every time I had a new thought, I would just open up, not a PDF, like a Google Doc, for example, or just pages on my Mac here. I'd open up a page document and I'd add them every time. And I'm kind of, a little sneak preview, I'm kind of doing that with my Facebook posts. Many of you have been reading my Facebook posts for years, and I have over 100 pages of these writings that I've been doing for years, and I'm thinking about putting that into another book. But we'll work on this one for now. So when I put down all these thoughts, there was no like one specific area. It was just everything that was going through my mind. And then from there, there's no, like, for example, there's no, what do you call that, table of contents. There's no table of contents. I talk about very briefly about myself. And then I talk about, here's one for you, Shauna. Thanks for asking. So, here, let me read this for you. It's reading time. Okay, so the title of this is called, Is This Book Ready to Be Delivered? So is this book ready to be delivered to an audience? Likely not. So then why do I release it now? These are some of my favorites here. Because Seth Godin would say ship, and ship often. Tim Ferriss would say test your audience. Gary Vee would say it's time for a right hook. Anthony Robbins would say there's a repeatable process to success. See, just like Isaac Newton, I stand on the shoulders of giants as well. And from what I've learned over the years, the books that I've read, and through the teachings of those that have been here before me, and finally through my own experiences, it's better to share your work now instead of later, because in many cases, our work will never be ready. And who knows, with how quickly the world is changing, what we know now, that knowledge could be outdated in a very short amount of time. There will always be a reason not to ship. So let's push those emotions aside and see what comes of it. As I contradict myself in the moment, I'll go against what many experts say as they tell you to find a specific topic, niche down, if you will, just like what I was talking about. This book isn't about any one particular subject other than business. It's not about Facebook or growing your audience. It isn't only about branding and understanding how to get your name out there. And it's not only about selling products from your website or email list. This is a book about my random thoughts on business and what I've learned, what I've tried and tested, and what has worked for me. Will it work for you? Only time will tell. What we know for sure, if you don't try, it certainly won't. All I care about is sharing this information now in case someone can use it. Maybe in the future, we'll consider hiring a team or look for a publisher to put this together and pick out certain topics for a new book. But we're releasing this book now, as I said earlier, because we all need to ship. We need to push aside the fear of rejection, fear of failure. And trust me, I've got lots of that going on right now. Will people buy this book? Will my words be beneficial? Could they actually help? Who will buy? How will I distribute them? How many books should I print? Am I wasting my time and money if this is all for nothing? I feel like it's important to lead by example in all areas of life. How can I give you advice on shipping and accepting fear and failure if I don't myself? I'm almost done. Stay with me. For me, writing my thoughts is medicinal. Writing gives me an outlet so I can move on from one thought to another. It also gives me the opportunity to teach others through my own successes and failures. The truth is, most of what's in this book, I've had these thoughts written down for years, but I've never taken action to deliver them. So what's the point of having them written down if I'll never share them? With the ever-evolving social media world, what makes sense now won't in the future. Although some of what I've written here is about being a good person and running a successful business with integrity, which is where we found our success, which will never be outdated. But things change in business, worldly and daily. And if you don't keep up, you'll be left behind. Because some of you need these thoughts now, and because I believe in shipping as often as possible, I bring this project to you in hopes it can help you run a successful business and run with the passion you follow, as we all do when we need to start a business. Keep your head up, push forward. Don't let any one person or situation drag you down. And by all means, get up over and over again because the world needs you. You're an entrepreneur. You're a chosen one. And the world needs you to change the world for the better. That was my vow. That was, I totally did not plan that. That was a great question, Shauna. And that was something I wanted to actually write out and share. So that was cool. I got to read that. And I hope that gives you an idea of where that came from and where the idea came to release the book, because I think we all have that fear, like, are we ready? Are we ready to put ourselves out there? Are we ready to step outside our comfort zone? Are we ready to make a difference in the world? And many of us aren't, or many of us won't take that step, and many of us won't. And I think just putting yourself out there, it's so scary, it's terrifying. And even we've been running this business for 8 years now. This is 8 years, and I was just having this conversation, and I might have been with you, Shauna. And some days it's a struggle. It's often a constant grind. It's often filled with many forms of rejection. And for us to be able to continue on with business, when I talk about in the book, like, we're here, like, we're in business, we're doing it, we're working, like, we haven't lost, we haven't failed. You fail when you quit. If you walk away, and I'm not saying that no one should ever walk away, but if you're in it for the long haul and you're willing to put up with the failure that comes with it, then you're winning. You can't lose. If you keep going forward, if you keep pushing forward, if you keep standing strong and sending your message out there, you're going to succeed. There's no way you can't. So I wanted to share that with you. My mom just jumped online here. Hi, Mom. Shauna says, that was awesome. Thanks, Shauna. And then Vince says, awesome. And Sue says, that's awesome, Drew. It applies in life, not just in business. Absolutely. We're on the same page as usual, Sue. And that's what it is. Like, we run our business with integrity. We run our business through our reputation. And I think I was kind of hoping, I was kind of leaning on that a bit, that even though I put in all this work and time and effort into a book that's completely different from what we're usually doing, that because of the type of people that we are. Like, I'm hoping that I hope that we're honest people and that we're real people and that we have real relationships and real people that we connect with, that if whether it's a magnesium product that we're working at, like, that's our reputation we put on the line. Like, we only put out the best. For example, like, we got a brand new book about business. Like, I had no idea if people are going to be interested or if we're going to be able to sell 10 of them. It's the same difference when I ordered my first 75 books to detoxify yourself, and we sold those within the first couple of weeks, and I was like beside myself. I didn't know what to say or do. So I'm super grateful for all the support. What's up, Dave? Dave's in LA here. I might see you soon. Hi Dale. Dale Sharon Johnson just jumped in here. I just read a little part of my brand new book, Random Thoughts, Volume 1. This is for entrepreneurs, branding, sales, making connections, social media. It's everything. It's all in there. This is Volume 1, and I'm currently working on Volume 2. I know it sounds crazy, but those random thoughts, I'm just continually putting them into another, not PDF, into pages. I can continue to put them in a document, and then when that's ready, who knows, sometimes I'm feel more inspired to write than others. So if that happens, when that happens, then we'll have another book to release for you guys. So I'm going to wrap things up here. I just want to say thanks for tuning in. Appreciate your support with the sales. If you guys want a book, you can just send a message. I didn't want to do anything crazy. I wasn't going to do a new website. Like, they've got 5 websites, I think. I didn't want to do a new website for a book. I didn't want to do any squeeze page, landing pages. I'm not collecting any email addresses, what we usually do or what experts say you should do. None of that. We're keeping it simple. If you want a book, send a message and we'll send you a book. That's it. We had one book is $15, 2 books are $13 each, and then 3 books are $10 each. So you can definitely shoot a message. I'm hoping that some people might be interested in checking the book out. Maybe you have some friends or family that run businesses or are considering running a business. And once we get these out, I'm hoping for some feedback so we can make it better for the next printing. And then who knows, maybe we'll get in some bookstores again. I don't know if I want to go down that road. But we got, thanks, Mom. She said, did you leave me a book? I got a book. We still have a little less than half of the books we ordered. So we're doing good. Got lots. Anyways, I'm going to let you guys go. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. If you guys have any questions, or if you need to comment, don't need to talk about business in general or business stuff in the book, I'd be happy to connect. Shoot me a message. Have a good evening, and thanks again for tuning in.